protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. Delighted to have with me here in Bournemouth Sky's very own Johnny Nelson. Johnny, great to see you, mate. How are we keeping?
I'm good. I like coming to Bournemouth. I like the vibe. I like the energy. I'm glad Chris Billam-Smith demanded we start putting shows on. They start showing boxing here. Remember, he made a promotional move for that reason, and I can totally understand why. It's a good vibe.
I mean, let's just come to it first. Obviously, Lawrence Okolie had that rematch clause. He decided not to invoke it and not have that fight next. Just your thoughts on Lawrence allowing Billam-Smith to take on Masterneck.
So Lawrence looks at, from what I assess, he looks at this as a business. I'm quite sure he didn't do that for nothing. The opportunity is still there. So therefore, Chris, the fight's always going to happen for Lawrence because he voluntarily, for whatever reason, stepped aside. So he probably got paid to do that. Say, all right, you guys sit out, fight it out, and he's still in the mix. I gather if Masterneck wins, it's Lawrence straight away. If Chris wins, he fights Riakporhe with him being made number one, then it's Lawrence again. So Lawrence would have cut himself a decent deal to make such a move. So I get it where he's coming from. If you're not passionate, you're not in love, not mad about it, the sport, and it's business, and so he's making enough business as he can out of it. So I get it, and it's a good. And if I'm honest, for Chris, his last two fights, they've been in tough fights. His last two fights, and when he boxed Lawrence, I'm thinking, boy, you don't want to do that next again, because even though he won, he got hit a lot. He got hit hard. These things affect fighters eventually down the line.
I mean, for Chris, obviously, becoming a world champion, even yourself, when you became a world champion, did that mindset change? Did you then take it more seriously, or do you think I'm the man and you took it too lightly at times?
So it probably takes one or two defences for you to accept the responsibility of being a champion. The responsibility of being a champion is you will have to be the guy that can devise a game plan that's against any fighter that's had 6 months to prepare for you. Because from day one, from you being champion, every fighter wants you. So they're all planning, I can beat him this way, I'll beat him that way. But as a champion, you've got to be. The champion's responsibility is I've got to devise a game plan that outfoxes your game plan, and you've had 6 months, a year to deal with me. So now Chris, people think the hardest thing is becoming world champion. It's not. It's staying world champion. So Chris is in a position now, and I said when we've interviewed all week, I said, look, you've got to talk, you've got to believe in it. You've got to believe this is who you are. You've got to believe you're the best fighter in the world. Don't, if people ask you, what do you think, who's out there? You've got to dominate and say, no, I am the better of all the champions. And he's got to really believe it, because if he doesn't, it'll expose itself. Now, his first defence of the world title is against Masterneck. Masterneck's a guy that people box if they have to. He's been sparring partners for all the heavies. He's a tough unit. They employ him for a reason. The guy's tough. He's dangerous. He's busy. And he's probably thinking, I can't believe my luck. This guy's picked me to fight, because people don't pick me because I'm dangerous. And he's dangerous. He's had more knockouts than Chris has had fights. And he's experienced. So his depth of knowledge is way out more than Chris's. And he's come here to win. He's come here, he ain't coming here to make up the numbers. So in the same way I doubt success for Chris, and I hope he does win. I really do. If he does win, you've got to give him enough respect, because this is his best win of his whole fight career, and this will be an underrated, underappreciated win for Chris, beating Masterneck.
Well, we look forward to a great show and fight on Sunday night. It is Saturday today, and it is weighing day today. Strange saying that sometimes. Let's move on. A couple of weeks away now from arguably one of the biggest shows of the year that I could remember for a long, long time. Wilder takes on Parker, Joshua takes on Wallin. We've got, Opetay on the card, Bivol on the card, Dubois takes on Miller. Just your thoughts on the show first, Johnny, in Saudi Arabia on 23rd December.
I think good. I actually think as a fight fan, it's perfect. It's brilliant. This is a game changer. that's a game changer, and that's what I like, because all of a sudden you've got all the fighters you want to see, good fighters you want to see on the same bill, all gearing towards the same avenue, the same path, the same end, to fight each other. There will be a banana skin. You know, side A is not guaranteed to beat side B in at least one fight. You're going to ask me which one. It can be anyone. One punch changes anything. Oppenheimer, it could be AJ, it could be Wilder. You know, there's fights there you think, wait, you'd expect to win, but one punch could change anything. So it's just good to see these guys in a position where they all perform on the same bill and you'll be able to measure them, you know, real time. Now, this probably wouldn't have happened if the money wasn't so good. And so Saudi Arabia, the King of Saudi Arabia, said, no, we're going to make this happen. You know, so even though the fighters, and most fighters want to fight each other, it's the managers and the promoters that try and, you know, keep their golden goose golden and keep them away from each other. So with so much money on the line, the management and promotions cannot get involved in that. You know what, you've got to say, you know, I've got to let it go. I've got to give you that. I can't protect you, you know, because it'd be quite obvious what I'm doing here. So now, you know, it strips it down bare. You know, who can fight, who's the best of the best, and we're going to see eventually the way this is going. So apparently, you know, there's another one February 17th, and I'm quite sure the guys at Boston's 23rd. They'll be out again February the 17th if they're not injured. But I just think it's a really good card, and you know, I'd watch it, definitely watch it if you're a fight fan. Come on, man.
I spoke to Shane McGuigan yesterday regarding obviously Anthony Joshua now training with Ben Davison, and he said that, look, he went from Rob McCracken to is it Joby and then Angel Fernandez, bringing in Robert Garcia, going to Derek James for 2 camps, where it sometimes takes 2 camps for that gel to finally kind of you know, get together, and then he's gone to Ben Davison, and he's not sure what changes he can make at this stage of his career.
Yeah, he can't, and it sounds like I'm dissing him. I probably am, but he can't. He's cutting corners. He's cutting corners. You don't do that, and I've seen it firsthand. Kel's my boy. You know, when Kell Brook did it with Dominic and cut corners, and he went to somebody else because it was cheaper to employ, and it was less hassle. But you saw it in his performances with him. Kell learnt his lesson and got himself in the right position, back with Dominic again when he was fighting Amir Khan. He looked outstanding. So if you want the best, you're going to pay for the best. You're not going to go for comfort. You're not going to go for what suits. You need to take that blanket away. You need to be in uncomfortable positions and make them comfortable.
But Jordan, just to stop you there, like you say, he's cutting corners, right? And you're saying financially. Are you referring to financially he has to pay less money to someone like Ben Davison?
Might be fine. I don't know what he's getting, what Ben's getting paid, but he's going for what suits. You know, he's got home comforts. You know, and if he's got to travel away to get the best solitude and the best training, that's what he's got to do. And so, for whatever reason, he's chosen to pick the easier option for him.
Maybe Dallas wasn't for him. Maybe he realised after 2 camps, Dallas is not for me. That environment is not for me.
So Ben is.
But he's back in the UK.
So Ben is.
I mean, he's back in the UK.
He's back in the UK, but what I'm saying is, you're preparing for a big fight. You're preparing because you want to get back to the top. So you're going to do everything. If you're a fighter, you're going to do everything possible. If you know, you realistically know there's an opportunity that you can get yourself back there again, you're going to give yourself what, because financially it shouldn't be a problem. You've got the dough to pay for the best, to be where the best is, to make the sacrifice for 12, whatever weeks it is. I always thought when in between fights he was with Ben, you know, for whilst he's here in the UK, then he'd disappear and go back to Derek or whoever to train with. Now I know it's a permanent fixture. That suits him. The fact is, I think Ben's a good trainer. I think Ben will be an even better trainer in 5-10 years' time. But at this moment, he's learning his trade and getting the experience off the back of other fighters, which I understand. But it's like you driving a car and me giving you a top super Porsche. You know, for your, all right, not first car, second car, you're going to crash it eventually. And when you crash it, you think, oh shit, I'll not do that again. But I paid for that Porsche, so I'm suffering. What I'm saying to you is, AJ will be the one that suffers the consequences of Ben's learning curve. This is what's happening. Ben might be a great trainer, have a great mindset, but the experience, the understanding of that of a fighter, of what a fighter's of fighting tactics and understanding the emotions of a fighter, and getting fighters to respect them, to respect him and listen to him. It takes a long time. You know, fighters are going to look at you and think, well, let me have a look at your resume. So let's talk about his resume.
So Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury, he's done a great job with Lee Wood, who had multiple defeats.
Let me just ask you
Shabazz Masood.
Let me just ask you this. Who has he made from scratch? I can polish your shoes and make them look shiny. I didn't make the shoes. I can polish them up. I can but I can't get credit for that. So these people are at a certain stage where they think, you know what, I need to hand up, and I can polish them, make them look good, but I didn't create them. You need to be able to create something special where people think, you know what, he's brought it in again. You know, and I just think when he starts producing fighters from scratch, then people like me cannot question his credentials, because you just think, you know what, and you're just polishing them up. That don't impress me. That don't tell me nothing. You know, and so again, I just think for AJ, it's not about Ben, it's about AJ. AJ, if his ambitions are to be the top, be the best again, he's got to make sure he puts himself in the best situation, best position, so that happens.
You said he's come back to the UK, but he's gone to Ben Davison. Who would you have then liked him to go with?
I'm not a fighter anymore, so therefore I'm not on the scene working with trainers. I think the trainer I rate now, I rate Virgil Hunter. Virgil wants you to live the life. He don't want you popping back and forth like a celebrity. He wants you to live the life. So for fighters over here to make that move, lock, stock and barrel and move on it, it's very hard, I understand that. But it's about commitment. It depends on how much you want what you want. So fighters that are on the circuit, fighters that are out and about, common sense tells you go for where the most knowledge is. You go for where the most experience is. Common sense tells you where you go to that environment, because you can only grow from that. I don't want you learning off me. I want to learn off you. I want you to tell me stuff. I want you to show me stuff. That's what I want. I want to be inspired by you. But I don't want you to think, you know what, okay, that didn't work with this fight, but in the next fight I'll have learned my lesson there. I don't want that, because my time's limited. And that's what I think. I think with AJ, he's at a point in his career where his time's valuable. And with his time being valuable, he's got to make sure he makes the right choices.
Just moving away from this, Simon Jordan has been very vocal about the whole Conor Ben stuff over the last kind of 12, 18 months. He had a meeting with Conor. I'm sure you saw the clip. Just your reaction to him meeting Conor, and you know, a change in tone from Simon Jordan now.
You know what? I get it. Conor's a nice kid. He's a nice kid. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And I get it, you know, and not at one point have I been blatant and dashed my man under the bus, even though he failed 2 drug tests. I've just said the fact is he's failed 2 drug tests. It has to get sorted out. You know, I want to see Conor fight, but I want to see him go through the process and the right way, not the wrong way. Now, if you fail 2 drug tests, you failed 2 drug tests. Get that sorted out. Conor would have been better off taking his licks, taking the ban. You know, still didn't. You know what? I didn't do it. But you know what? I want to get on with my career. It's not until he's later on in his life he's going to think I wasted 2 years of my career, the development of my career, which could have been my best years, fighting something where I should have just put pride on the shelf and thought, you know what? Give me the ban. Let me deal with this. It'd be a year in. That's if he had a 2-year ban. It'd be a year in. You know. But I just think so now, when you mention Conor Ben, this is all you talk about. But the kid's actually a good fighter. The kid's actually developed. I thought he was one of the best developing fighters out there, and he still is. Because drugs don't make you a better fighter. They might make you stronger. They might make you fitter. They don't make you more knowledgeable. So what I'm saying is he's actually a good fighter. So the failed 2 drug tests, get them sorted. Get it sorted correctly. If you've got evidence, show the evidence. Don't tell me you got the evidence. Show me. Tell me you got the evidence. Don't mean shit. Show me. Get this dealt with. You know, move on with your career, get on with your career. Or take the licks, take your ban, and say, right then, I disagree with you, but I want to get on with my career. And get people talking about Conor Ben and fights, not Conor Ben and failed drug tests.
John Fury made some comments in the Metro where he said that he feels like Tyson Fury needs more time to prepare for Usyk. Tyson needs to work on his conditioning. He's taking far too many punches now.
And what? Well, yes, what are you saying to me?
So I spoke to Clifton yesterday, and Clifton said to me that when him and Peter were working with Fury, he was more on his toes, more moving about, which you can hear he's more kind of flat-footed now. So is that inevitable? When you're flat-footed, you're going to take more punches?
Yeah, of course. When you get older, when you get heavier, your timing, your hand-foot-eye coordination slips a little bit. That's what happens. Tyson, he's a big guy, he's a fast guy, he's a mobile guy, and that's his advantage. He's got the speed, he's got the agility of a big guy, and he's got the advantage of that. You ain't getting close to him. Once that goes, once the speed's gone, and once that agility's gone, now he's just a big guy. And so that's the worry there. And I said after his last performance, if we're to believe that he trained really hard, his legs have gone. If we're to believe he trained really hard, I don't believe he did. I think I kind of agree with Carl Froch in regards to it's Christmas coming up. Does he want to train? Because nobody wants to fight in January. Does he want to train? Does he want to train? He'll have to be training now over Christmas, and then after dealing with the backlash of the last Ngannou fight, and then getting to another fight. He probably doesn't. I don't know what the agreement was. I don't know what the clause was in regards to him not fighting Usyk on the 23rd. I was promised and swore blind by Spencer Brown, his manager, saying it's on, no matter what it's on. And so therefore the manager has to suffer the consequences, because when business don't go well, you can't hide and say it's not me, it's him. You're the manager. So if he didn't box the 23rd, if he doesn't box the 17th, it's on the manager's toes. He's got to manage that. He's got to manage the fighter. So if it is true, and the fight is nudged and he doesn't fight on February 17th, then the manager's got a lot to answer for, because he's the one that's selling us, this is going to happen now.
Final three bits, just quick fire here, quick fight predictions from the 23rd card. First, AJ Otto-Wallin.
Knockout win for AJ.
Daniel Dubois, Big Baby Miller.
That's a toughie. I think Baby Miller does Daniel. And let me just tell you this. Don Charles is an amazing coach. And the problem with Don Charles is he's never had the right materials to work with to show how good he is. And so on. And this isn't disrespecting Derek Chisora. This isn't disrespecting Daniel. Don Charles is a good fighter, and he needs fighters that are going to absorb and understand and listen. And when he gets that fight, all of a sudden everybody's going to be saying, Don Charles is a Don. Don Charles is a good coach. He's just not had the right material to work with yet to show his talent. And so basically with Don, the problem is now he's passionate. He puts his heart and soul into a fighter, and he loves Daniel. And Daniel's a nice guy, but Daniel is only going to go so far. And this isn't a nice thing to hear, but he's only going to go so far because we've seen chinks in his armour that you can't have at world-class level. So would I believe Miller could do him? I do believe Miller could do him. I think Daniel is an amazing puncher. I don't think he's an amazing thinker. You understand? So he'll be taught to remember, but not to think. When you're in a ring, you need to be an amazing thinker. Think fast on your thing. Diversify. I don't think he's an amazing thinker. I think he can remember what he's been shown, and this will be a problem. But if not in this fight, down the line for him.
And finally, Wilder Parker.
Oh, Wilder. I think Wilder has it. If Wilder's the fighter he was, I think Wilder gets that.
Johnny, thank you as always for speaking to Boxing King Media. And yeah, we'll catch up hopefully after fight night, as long as you don't run away.
Oh, I don't do that.
Have you ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.